develop programs like I mentioned, diploma in HRM, diploma in events, and diploma in management. So after that, the management of Rushmore, in collaboration with industry experts and various stakeholders, we decided to come up with innovative and on-demand courses. And this is where we develop programs like the diploma in AI, artificial intelligence, the diploma in communication and media studies, and of course, like you said, the diploma in financial technology, which is FinTech.
Hi friends, welcome back to BFN. Today I have a great pleasure to welcome Yuven Peechen, who is a lecturer and course coordinator at Rushmore Business School. And we will be talking about a FinTech course being offered by RBS, Rushmore Business School.
So, I am Yuven, lecturer at Rushmore Business School. Okay. I have been at Rushmore since 2015. So, I'm currently teaching finance and accounting modules at both the undergraduate and postgraduate levels.
All right.
And I'm also lecturer on the ACA and ACCA professional courses, so I'm currently teaching financial management. Okay. But it's good to mention that my field of expertise and research is mainly about financial management and corporate finance.
All right, that's good. So give me more detail about Rushmore Business School, since how many years RBS exists, and what are the courses that RBS is offering?
Okay, so Rushmore Business School is an international tertiary institution, and it is based at Soubna-Quatre-Bornes. Okay. It has been in operation since 2002.
Okay, right.
And we have a brand new campus with state-of-the-art facilities, latest technology, and different facilities as well.
Okay, but how many students are there actually at the school?
We have over 800 students.
800?
On the different programs that we offer. You will see that we have
both full-time and part-time?
Both full-time and part-time, and both the academic courses and the professional courses as well.
Right. And how many courses?
Yeah, so we offer, like I told you, a series of postgraduate and undergraduate programs. So we have got different faculties. So the faculties that we have at Rushmore are management and law. We have hospitality and tourism, built environment and engineering, quantity surveying, information technology. We have spa and wellness, and of course accounting and finance. Okay. And we also provide tuition for professional programs. So we are running programs like ACCA, ACA, which is awarded by ICW, the BCS, British Computer Society, and CIM, which is the Chartered Institute of Marketing. It is good also to know that we work mainly with British universities and professional bodies. Okay. So the different academic portals that we have, let me just name a few for here. So we have the ACCA, BCS, City and Guilds, CIPTA for spa courses, CTH for tourism courses, ICW for ACA courses, Leeds Beckett University, Pearson, University of West Scotland, and the University of Salford Manchester.
Okay, and what about the different courses that I mentioned, same being accredited by international universities, or how it works?
So all our courses, first of all our courses are accredited and approved by the HEC, which is the Higher Education Commission, which was previously the TEC, the TEC, Tertiary Education Commission. Okay. The MQA, the Mauritius Qualification Authority, and the British Accreditation Council in the UK. So how it works is that some of our courses are awarded by the awarding bodies with which we work with.
All right, the professional one?
No, the academic one.
All right. Okay.
For instance, we offer courses by LB, Leeds Beckett University. So we use the same curriculum, we use the same lecture materials, we have the same assessments. It's just that instead of the students flying to UK bearing the cost of air tickets and accommodation, so we offer the courses here at Rushmore using exactly the same curriculum and materials, but with our local lecturers.
All right, okay.
Yeah. But some of our courses as well are awarded by Rushmore itself. So it's good to note that in 2013, Rushmore Business School obtained sub-degree awarding status from the TEC.
Right.
Which means that we can award sub-degree courses.
Okay.
And
the diploma certificates can be issued directly by RBS?
By RBS, exactly, by Rushmore. And this is where we develop the diploma in HRM, the diploma in events management, and the diploma in management, which are all awarded by Rushmore Business School.
Now there's something very interesting that I've seen at OBS level, Rushmore Business School, that you came up with a FinTech course. Can you give me please more details about this course and why OBS came up with this course? Yeah.
So, like I said, in 2013, Rushmore Business School obtained sub-degree awarding status. So we developed programs like I mentioned, Diploma in HRM, Diploma in Events, and Diploma in Management. So after that, the management of Rushmore, in collaboration with industry experts and various stakeholders, we decided to come up with innovative and on-demand courses. And this is where we develop programs like the Diploma in AI, Artificial Intelligence, the Diploma in Communication and Media Studies, and of course, like you said, the Diploma in Financial Technology, which is FinTech. Now, let me just give you some of the reasons why we thought at Rushmore that there is a need for a FinTech course in Mauritius. The first thing is the landscape of the financial sector is changing, both internationally and globally.
That's true.
I would say drastic change. And there is a shift now from what we call physical assets, cash, to what we call a cashless system and digital assets. So there is extensive use of technology through the blockchain, cryptocurrency, as well as you would see the traditional sources of finance are now being replaced or supplemented by the contemporary sources of finance like peer-to-peer lending and crowdfunding. So I think that the traditional finance knowledge is becoming obsolete at a very fast pace and need to be supported very quickly with information technology. So that's the first reason why we thought that FinTech is important. The second reason is that the FinTech sector in the African continent is soaring. So this shift will strengthen the value proposition from Mauritius, where Mauritius wants to be a natural gateway to Africa, and as well as an international financial
And we want to be a FinTech hub too.
Exactly, the FinTech hub. So to be able to have that FinTech hub, we need to have the resource persons as well. So the FinTech program will equip the school leavers or the professionals with the skills.
All right, but according to you, is the market ready for all this change? All the youngsters, the students, professionals are aware that things are being transformed with the help of technology. The traditional finance is transforming into FinTech and all this. All our people are aware of it and they're ready to adapt to all these changes.
Now, I think that everyone is hearing about FinTech, but I don't think that everyone really knows what FinTech is all about. So this is where the FinTech program will help our students who are enrolling on that course to be able to understand at least the basic of that FinTech program. Right, and of course we do have resistance to change, and especially in Mauritius. And I think we have to go very slowly. The things are moving very fast on the other hand. But I'm pretty sure that this FinTech program is at least a starting point to build up.
Yeah, that's where
further.
Education into play, and this will help our people to learn about all these and try to adapt with all these changes.
Exactly.
All right. So let's go through the different modules of the course. Just give me brief details of the modules.
Right, so just before I give the details of the module, I'd just like to point out that the Diploma in FinTech at Rushmore, we provide opportunities to young entrepreneurs, to fresh school leavers, IT professionals with no finance background, or finance professionals with no IT background. But we also offer the program to those industry people who want to shift from their current field of work to this new industry. Right. So coming back to your question, Benito. So the FinTech program has a combination of finance and technology modules. We also have one module covering the regulatory aspects of FinTech, which I think is very important. So I'll just go briefly through the different modules.
Sure.
Our program is offered on a two-year program, both full-time and part-time. And in year one, we are going to cover modules like fundamentals of financial.
So it will be over four semesters.
4 semesters, 4 full-time, and 6 trimesters for part-time.
All right, okay.
So
2.5 years for the part-time.
No, it's going to be 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah, so I mean like for the full time, we are going to have 4 semesters over 2 years.
Right.
Where they're going to cover 3 modules per semester,
Okay.
which gives you a total of 12 modules.
Okay. And for the part time?
For the part time, it's going to be 3 trimesters per year.
Okay.
3 trimesters, and they're going to cover 2 modules per trimester.
Okay, it will remain over 2 years.
Over 2 years.
Okay.
So they're going to cover 6 modules, but instead of semester basis, it's going to be on trimester basis.
Okay.
Right, so coming back to the different modules, we have the fundamentals of financial markets and risk.
Mm-hmm.
We have the financial services environment, which is going to cover a little bit of the monetary and fiscal policy.
Mm-hmm.
We have introduction to software engineering, covering Internet of Things, cloud computing.
Mm-hmm.
And the most important one, I think, blockchain and cryptocurrency.
Exactly.
How they work, the future, the concept of deep web and dark web. Introduction to business analysis.
Mm-hmm.
The FinTech regulatory environment, very important as well. We're going to cover the FSC as a regulator, the license activities, RegTech, sandbox, and the grey areas.
Yeah.
So this is the module that we are going to cover in year 1. In year 2 modules, we are going to cover corporate finance. So the traditional corporate finance, investment appraisal techniques. Artificial intelligence in the industry is an important element as well, where we're going to cover credit decisions using AI, managing risk using AI, quantitative trading using AI, and fraud detection using AI. Governance, risk, compliance, and cybersecurity, talking a little bit about digital signature, e-finance and e-services. Hedging and derivatives, especially for international trade, about forex market, interest rate market, futures, forwards. And sources of finance and valuation. This is where we are going to cover the contemporary sources of finance merged with the traditional sources of finance, crowdfunding, peer-to-peer lending, venture capitalists and private equity firms. And of course, programming languages, which I think is very important.
Yeah, when we talk about blockchain and all that.
Exactly.
That's true.
And we are going to use the Python language to teach students how to write algorithm and pseudocode.
All right. So this course, it is a diploma.
A diploma.
Okay. Will there be another level where students will be able to be awarded a postgraduate degree and all that, or?
Yep. So currently this is a diploma program, and I think we are the first one in Mauritius currently offering a diploma in FinTech. What we are doing right now is that we are working with foreign universities, British universities, to see if we can have top-up for this diploma in FinTech. What I mean by top-up is that after they completed the first year and the second year, could they enroll on a technology course, could they enroll on a finance course, or could they enroll on a FinTech program so that they are awarded a degree in FinTech?
Right.
But like I said,
okay, we will be still at the postgraduate level.
Undergraduate, still undergraduate.
Undergraduate.
Yeah,
then we'll move to the postgraduate.
Exactly.
All
Exactly.
right, okay.
So they will have the opportunity to do a degree in FinTech, but again, we are starting to negotiate with British universities for that.
No, but there is a plan.
There's a plan, exactly. Exactly.
Okay.
And by the time the students that are going to enroll on that diploma in FinTech, which they are going to complete in 2 years, I think we should be ready with the degree and the grad in FinTech.
Okay, now let's talk a bit in general. What is the future of FinTech according to you? When we're talking about Africa, and just give me your thoughts about FinTech.
So I think that the future is FinTech. Right? And it's good to see that the government here is promoting in their program digital currency. And I think this would be a very good point, especially with the COVID-19, which is here. So there is a talk that when we exchange money, the virus could be transferred.
Yeah, physical cash.
Yeah, physical cash. So with digital currency, that would be eliminated.
Yeah.
So talking about the COVID-19 right now, which is the talk of the town, I just want to take an example to show you how the technological revolution and the future of FinTech is. Let's take, for example, the banks and the banking services. In terms of crisis, I remember we used to see people rushing to ATMs, and they would just
actually people are rushing to supermarkets.
Exactly, and rushing to banks to take out their money.
Right.
But this is something that we have not seen yet in Mauritius or all over the world, or if not, it has decreased significantly. Why? Because people knew that they do have access to internet banking, they do have access to bank transfers,
to cashless payments,
where they can settle their payments online. And this has significantly helped trade finance as well. Right? So, in the future, I would say that we should expect physical banks without human presence, where you just go in the bank, there would be PCs, there would be laptops, you just go, make your transactions, and just go. So using virtual platforms, interactive platforms, and digital platforms. And I think this is already happening in developed countries all over the world.
Exactly, and also when we talk about fintech in Africa, we're talking about financial inclusion, because we have 70% of the people of Africa who are unbanked. So we have lots of benefits that fintech is bringing on the table. Okay, now let's talk a bit about the fourth industrial revolution, which is of course being led by technology. You have lots of changes. Technology is transforming the way we live, the way we work, and the nature of work is starting to change. And we need to prepare our youngsters for all these changes. And what are your thoughts about the changing nature of work, which is being transformed by technology?
Okay, so I'm experiencing that at the moment, so I think it's good to talk about that experience. So in the education sector, for instance, how we used to teach is the traditional face-to-face interaction. But you would see that with the COVID-19, schools are closed, universities are closed. We just had a meeting this morning with the management of Rushmore, where what we need to do now is that we need to record our lectures and post that online on our virtual platform. So this is technology.
Exactly.
And you imagine if we had not had technology, so schools are being closed, universities are being closed, people would not have been able to share knowledge and to still complete the curriculum.
There would be no activities at all.
Exactly. So even now, when we are staying at home, what we need to do is to record our lectures, post that online, and we have a virtual platform where we interact directly.
Students can
question and answers questions.
And watch all these videos.
Exactly.
Continue their studies.
Where we send them questions. We send them the video link so that they can have a look at that. So this is the future.
I think it's a very good strategy from Rushmore Business School in this time where there are lockdowns around the world, and that's very good. And maybe do you have a message to our youngsters, our people here in Mauritius about fintech, about your course, OBS course?
Allow me, Benito, before we move to the message, if I can talk maybe about the challenges that we have here in Mauritius or all over the world, is that we have seen how a physical virus is contaminating the whole economy and putting the global economy in quarantine, I would say. Imagine one day what would happen if we have a virtual virus which is contaminating all of the IT systems, the databases, the internet connectivity, and the online platforms. So I think we should be very careful, and this is one of the reasons why we included the FinTech regulatory framework in our curriculum. But I think it's very difficult as well to regulate something which doesn't exist, like cryptocurrency. The second challenge that we have here in Mauritius is that we still need to convince people to use technology and adopt fintech. According to a recent survey, I just read that yesterday, preparing for that, so 46% of people exclusively use digital channels for their financial needs. What I see here is not about the 46%, but we still have 44% of people who have not yet used what we call the digital channels. So this is a market where we can still tap in.
I think you have mentioned something very interesting, because all innovations, the success of any innovation, it depends on the mass adoption of it.
Exactly. And you know how Mauritius is, because in terms of, we do have resistance to change, especially with an aging population. We know that we have an aging population where the aging population is not very keen to adopt information technology, though I know most of them are using mobile phone now, a smart mobile phone. so that would be the challenges which I think our diploma in FinTech would try to bridge that gap between the industry and the theoretical aspects. So coming shortly to our diploma in FinTech, it's good to know that in terms of the assessments of the diploma in FinTech, what we have done is that we have, just give me a minute. So what we have done, we have merged different assessments methods.
Right.
So we are using case studies, projects, report writing, and exams. So by doing so, we ensure that we cover the theoretical aspects, but we know that FinTech is very less theory and very much in practical way.
Exactly.
So using those assessment methods, we try to bridge that gap, as I mentioned, and make it more relevant to the industry. For instance, students will be required to create a portfolio of shares from the stock exchange of Mauritius, or even use programming language to create a software for a particular company. So that would be in terms of the assessment, how we try to make the program as relevant as possible to fit in the needs and expectations of the industry. And yes, coming to the message to our youngsters and students about FinTech and our BS FinTech course, I would advise our youngsters, our younger generation, they are the future of the country. FinTech is the future of the country. So I would ask them to think wisely and choose a field of study which would meet the needs, the requirements and the expectations of the industry and this fast changing world.
Exactly.
I would ask them to join a field of study which is dynamic, which is innovative, and which provides a good return on their investment. So I would advise them again to join a field of study which would help them secure a job in this very competitive and rapidly evolving global market.
All right. Okay. So maybe we'll end with something that I will say something that will trigger their thought process. Okay, and we were having a conversation earlier where we were telling that if we will, the world will adopt digital currency, cryptocurrency, there will be no need for the banks to have a teller at the bank because everything will be digital and people won't be rushing to ATMs to withdraw physical money. You know, maybe I don't know, it can be in 5 years, it can be 10 years, it can be 15 years or 20 years, we don't know. But maybe our students, our youngsters need to think in these directions. Maybe they must go mainly for FinTech courses, technology, because there will be a huge need for a huge demand for developers and coders.
Yes, yeah, that's true.
So, Yuven, I would like to thank you very much, and also I would like to thank Rushmore Business School, the program, the directors, and for accepting my invitation, okay, and to talk about the diploma in FinTech being proposed by Rushmore Business School. So, thank you.
Thank you as well, Benito. Just to conclude, I would ask the youngsters and students of today, just don't be afraid of the disruptions. Just don't be resistant to change, but rather embrace the disruptions, embrace the changes, and I'm sure this will open up to a wide range of opportunities in the future. So for more information, of course, they can contact us on 696-2671 or visit our website www.rbs.ac.au.
We will share all these details.
Thank you. Thank you, Benito. Thank you to the team of BFM. Thank you to Dr. Nitinesu and Dr. Priya Isu for having delegated me here for this interesting platform.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Benito.
Bye.